Hello everyone, Anita here, and this is day 21 of the 30-day sketchbook challenge, and today is probably the worst day ever. I'm really struggling today. Today is like really the peak of the struggling of the struggle. I was so tired today, and after the stream I still didn't have anything, and I was like, you know what? I have a good idea. I am going to sketch the way I would normally sketch in a real sketchbook. I'm going to color it, even though I don't color my sketches normally. Sometimes I do though, and I'm going to color it just the exact same way I would do my regular sketches. Perhaps it's a little bit more fancy because I needed to have some content for you guys, but still, this is probably the shortest video footage I've recorded. It's just under 30 minutes, and then I made the regular video, but as you can see, this is only a 7-minute video, so probably the shortest one. But yeah, that's how I usually sketch. And the most important thing in my sketches is that I never use any reference. When I sketch, when I have an idea in my head, the very basic sketch that I make is just so that I can put it out of my head and put it on paper. So you guys know, because I've talked about it before, that I do a lot of planning in my head beforehand, and that can happen on a several day basis is a wrong word. In the span of several days, sometimes even weeks, I will just have some idea, it will tumble around, I'll get different pieces to it, and just like eventually I feel like, oh, that's it, and then I put it on the paper. In this case, I had an idea that got inspired again by my boyfriend to do sort of like desert scene with my hamster and incorporate different colors that I don't normally use, maybe put a camel in it. Now, I didn't put a camel there, I put some sand and stuff like that. But I made this simple sketch, and as you can see here, I'm actually showing you how I choose my colors. So I know, like, I have this schematic, like swatches of the Copics at the very beginning of my sketchbook, and that's how I choose my colors. So here I knew, of course, I would use orange because that's how my hamster, that's the color of my hamster. When I say my hamster, for those of you who don't know, my hamster is hamster in general. It's a capital H. Hamster is a character, my very first character that I've created for the sake of making illustrations, just after I've decided to become a professional illustrator, so about 3.5 years ago, something like that. And I have a whole story going on with him. There is, you see them in a lot of pictures, along with the fox and the mermaid. And there is a story going on. I am planning to make something out of it, but it's way in the future, so that's just, I still use the hamster for a lot of pictures. And he has this whole adventurous vibe to him. So in this case, as you can see, the shape of this hamster is, I'm not happy with it at all. And that's how it usually happens at the beginning of sketching process, because I will usually take this sketch and scan it, or take a photo most often, and then use my lightbox to sketch over it and refine the shapes. Then I find reference for those pictures, so I look for different, the way that the hamster's head is a little bit up, I would look for a real photo of a real hamster to see how that actually works. In this case, when I sketch, I usually make like this tear shape out of the hamster. He looks like pretty much like a bag that you would pick up at one point, and has little like beans that are dropped to the bottom. That's his butt. So, and as you can see, I'm really fast at coloring it. There is no real shading. I'm just blocking in main colors. I knew the hamster was orange. I knew I wanted to have the same color in his shirt and the sky. And I'm also trying to put a little bit of, I thought it would be a good idea to use the blue to kind of like fade into the desert. But instead of having that really nice effect of a very sunny desert, of course it's a wrong color because I didn't have the proper color for that. But instead of having like a very, very sunny color, that blue toned down the colors and made it look a little bit more like as if it was like rainy day or maybe going into the, darkness kind of a thing. So that's something I would definitely pay attention to while doing the proper big illustration. And that's what I basically do my little sketches for, just because in this case I thought the blue would work in the sky and like pulling it down towards the background, towards the desert, but obviously it didn't. It kind of like, when I think about it back, like at the idea, of course it wouldn't make sense because it's blue, it's a different color. It's a color that does not belong in the desert unless it's a sky. So now it makes sense, but I sometimes have to put those ideas straight on paper to have them make sense to me, to see it like how it visually would be. And so here I'm using the brush pen, the pencil brush pen that I've been recently really in love with, and I'm just putting in some lines, and this is basically for you guys. If it was up to me, I would just have left it this with only the colors, with only the sketch and blue pencil. I wouldn't have added any lines. This is only for your pleasure of viewing, so that this sketch makes more sense. And so what I've decided to do here is kind of like block in at the depth. So as you can see, block in the depth, that makes sense. Just to create some depth. So as you can see, there is, I'm covering the mounds of sand with some dark ink, and that's only to have the big mound in the front and the thinner one in the back to create some depth. That's pretty much it. There is no other reason for it. Now, because, of course, also for you guys, I've decided that this picture didn't make much sense, and I've decided to use the same blue. It's kind of added to the orange of the fur to tone it down, so that it kind of all matched together. And then as a very last touch, I'm adding a lot of dots to represent the sand, because I thought maybe some stippling, is that the word, I hope, would make a really nice effect for a desert scene. So yeah, and I kind of liked it. I kind of like those different dots. Perhaps I would use a darker color for the sand and then use white on top, if anything. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's how I sketch the real way. That's how I would normally do a sketch. As you can see, it's a pretty wonky sketch. It's still, good one, but it's wonky. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you, took out the message from the message I want to convey. You do not have to be perfect, and not all sketches are beautiful. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow with hopefully something more worth, watching. Bye, guys!